Alrighty, there was an update a few days ago. We got a new Manderville quest. It is titled A Need for Speed, given to us by Hardi outside of his home in the Neon Stein area of Solution 9, the recreation zone. Here we go. It's been about a week or so, I forgot.
Mercy, I was hoping you'd drop by. It took a bit of doing, but I was able to widen the crack I made in that storage device and yank out a couple new scraps of data.
Cutscene goes black. We get a flashback of the red, shortish-haired Elzen. Yeah.
The first file just so happened to be a record of Carnelian's procedure. Seems the bastard's soul was poured into one of those clot-type monsters. They've got an annoying talent for mimicking shapes and faces, which is exactly what Carnelian took advantage of when he tricked us with his fake Kamaka.
He sees Hildy and Nashu running up. Never fear, Inspector Hildebrand is here.
Just looks back at me. The other file I pulled had details on yet another monster-fied criminal.
Oh, Nashu waves. He ignores her.
This mook was nabbed for repeated vehicular violations. Riding his air-wheeler too fast, making reckless maneuvers, endangering others, that sort of thing. According to the data, he's running around in the body of a cactuar now. Judging by what we've seen of that researcher's schemes, he'll have dispatched the prickly speed demon somewhere outside the dome. But where?
Rejoice, my good detective, for I, Hildebrand, agent of enquiry, come bearing the very direction you seek. He kind of shrugs a little bit. I have it straight from the mouth of the real Kameka that an ambulatory cactus piloting a flying contraption was supposedly observed streaking through the sky on a southerly bearing. Shock on Hardi World's face. He turns to him fully now. Alas, despite hastening to confirm this sighting, our intrepid sheriff arrived too late to see the needle-covered individual in question. The report was summarily dismissed as fanciful imaginings of inebriated townsfolk. The insistent chirp of veteran instinct nonetheless impelled me to investigate. Thus did my faithful assistant and I venture further south to question the colorful crowds of Thule Yodel. Tom OOLLY hyphen YO Delta EL. Thule Yodel. She turns to him. Thule Yodel! She arms spread wide, big smile. He looks to her, looks back at us. Yes, there to find sober witnesses eager to tell of an airborne succulent. They said it was moving at an incredible pace, sat astride a vehicle like the ones the mechanical invaders had ridden. It was last seen zipping past a dirigible before vanishing into the clouds to the south.
Alexandria's soldiers ride on air-wheelers, so unless there's another flying cactuar out there somewhere, I think we have our man. Good work.
A big cheer from Hildy. A little cheer from Nashu. Hildy does a couple poses, ending with a hug. I don't know what that sound was.
Almost too good, in fact,
says Hardi. Is he suspicious that Hildy is the slime dude? Hildy's just smiling. Hands on hips.
Over there! Is that a new case I spy?
Nashu gets, shocked. Hildy, big smile, searches. Nashu searches.
Hardly had to bait the hook. They're the real deal, all right. Although, come to think of it, I don't know why anyone would bother impersonating either of them to begin with.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
At least the lead seems solid enough. But if we're serious about catching this guy, we'll need an air-wheeler of our own. Come on, there's a shop nearby that does custom jobs.
He walks out of the frame, out of the scene, slightly shocking Hildy and Nashu. They go running after him, and we are left to do the same. Hardi Boiled is just around here to the south. Around the corner to the south is where the Hardi man went. We speak with him to continue.
This is the place. I used to be a regular here, but I ain't been back in a while. Let's see if they still remember me.
Cutscene. And a green, all the way around the mouth, like mustache, beard combo. I don't know what that's called. It looks like a ring though. His name is Mary O. Nancy O. Mary Monum. Well, well, look who the wind blew in.
Monum, I've come for my steed.
That battered old scrap heap, it's been rusting on my garage floor so long, I doubt it could manage a slow trot, let alone a gallop. Happy to give it a tune-up if you've credits to burn, but I'll need you to supply some parts. A new high-voltage battery and superconductor coil at a minimum. Hardi thinks on it. Turns to me.
The chronometer's ticking. I'll see if I can't get my hands on a battery, but can I ask you to track down the coil?
I turn to him.
These soft-boiled dopes wouldn't know a suspension spring from an anti-gravity gimbal, but you I can trust to find the right part without cracking under the pressure.
Hildy is arms crossed, but like joyously kind of watching somebody do work on a motorbike. Nashu's just writing in her journal book, whatever. My options are, I'm on it, detective, or got my number, do you? I'm on it, detective. Pat my chest a couple times. Hardy Boiled seems desperate to get his air-wheeler up and running, so I'll give you a tip. You want a coil quick-like, then salvaging the rides of defective sentries is your best bet. I'll even lend you this handy gadget to help you out. Set off the distress signal on the west side of Old Alexandria, and you'll soon have some murderous mechanical company to dismantle for parts. He's also got an earring, black jacket with some neon on, a couple earrings, one on each ear at least. Hardy kind of looks back at Nashu, just turns and smiles at him.
I'll take these two along with me on the battery hunt. Good luck out there.
He pokes Hildy, who is a little bit startled but turns, explains the situation to him, and they all go walking out and I follow with. We all go walking down after midnight. 222 teleports us out to Electrope Strike in Heritage Found, and then west of there is where we need to go. For me, it is between Black Mage and Pictomancer for doing quests and needing to kill things quickly. I would say probably Picto takes the cake if you are just like, you know what? Yeah, it's actually not bad, yeah. We have a destination marker where we will use the distress beacon. Did we already get the thing? Oh, that's quick. I thought there would be more, so I didn't even use my hammer. So badly, I must cry out loud. So back over to the Neon Stein telepoint. Back through the doors of the mechanic shop. Talk to Monum to continue. Well, get your hands on a coil. Hand over a superconductor coil. I imagine this will be a... Aye, that should do the trick. Now where did your mates run off to? Can't be that hard to find a store what sells batteries. You should probably head over to the Nexus arcade and see what's keeping them. Okay. My sprint isn't back. Oh, and I lost my job because I changed jobs like an idiot. I've got all the materials, so I have a list of all the materials that I need to craft the item level 770 weapons. Probably at this point the biggest holdup is going to be farming tomestones with mathematics. However, I actually do plan on doing a full round of the heavyweight fights. If not only for the mathematics, but also because they'll give me 2 more hollow armors for a first chest piece from it. 1 more weapon thingy, we need 2 more for a weapon. And then I'm probably gonna do, was it cruiserweight 4 or M4 normal for another one of those swords. We'll see. Here's Hardi inspecting some bikes, or I don't know. Mercy, any trouble picking up that coil? Nothing you couldn't handle, I'll wager. As for the battery, I bought one easily enough. The problem was convincing the inspector and his gal to stick around after he caught whiff of a tantalizing familiarity. Long story short, they wandered off and haven't come back. Suppose we have to go look for them, eh? Not really, no. They're probably fine. Okay, cutscene. We're just looking around the arcade area. We do see the 2 of them talking to a man in a blue jacket with the creepy Lullafell watching from behind a pillar or support beam. The blue man, the guy in the blue jacket also has kind of grayish skin, white hair, black hat. Is he one of the zombie brands? Could be. A black shirt underneath the blue jacket, white shorts, blue socks, or not like tights is not the right word, but I think it's kind of close to it. And go all the way up to the white shorts, or maybe above. Is that a corpse? A smiling corpse? You needn't fret, detective. This dapper zombie is an old acquaintance of mine. Allow me to introduce myself, good sir. I'm a proud member of the Gentle Dead Men and a disciple of Master Zombiebrand. I have been on the road, seeking out new recruits for our merry mouldering band. Said search is what brought me here, and into the midst of this unexpected, yet most welcome reunion. I don't usually hold with necromancy, but he seems harmless enough. So, if you're done catching up, we've got a case to work on. In actual fact, our conversation was almost entirely case-adjacent. Employing his nose for festering fellows, this gentle zombie traced the stench of necromantic decay to the very facility in which I once slumbered. The zombie nods. Cutscene goes black for a second. We get like a flashback of one of the female researcher zombies that ended up in the dancing group when Hildy escaped the stasis chamber. There are a couple other zombies here in the background doing a bunch of zombies doing Manderville poses or mid dance. And then the zombie researcher lady is talking to our zombie friend in the blue jacket. Yes, I became fast friends with one of the reanimated researchers there. During the process of getting to know each other, he spoke... He? Oh, I thought that was a woman, sorry. He spoke briefly of the only person left alive after the incident. According to my new charnel chum, all the lab workers perished when an accident resulted in the leakage of a highly toxic substance. All, that is, save for a single man who habitually wore a protective gas mask. Flash to a new scene of a flashback. The man in the gas mask, who we have come to think of as one of the main villains, at least. Kesh Kahi. K-E-S-A-M-H-K-A-Y-I. Kesh Kahi. Kesh Kahi is his name. He was second in charge after the overseer himself, yet disdained by his peers as a condescending know-it-all. They did, however, grudgingly recognize his passion for his work. Even after devoting a full day to official experiments, he would pour his remaining time and energy into some mysterious side project. And he was the sole surviving researcher, you say? Sounds like we finally have a name for our mastermind. Courtesy of the shambling undead, no less. Thanks for that. Big thumbs up from Hildy, like 2 fists and like a yes, and then 1 fist pump from the zombie. So Nashi was the 2-fisted yes. Glad to be of service. Now, if you'll excuse me, my new recruit and I have a cafe tour planned. And he gives a bow. I wave. Nashi gives a joyous wave. Hildy gives a normal wave. And he walks away. So, that fella was an honest-to-God's walking corpse, huh? He says, turning to me. I've met weird folks in my line of work, but do you always keep company with such oddballs? I kind of give like a exasperated smile and like a little of a shrug, but that was out of line. It's just, I reckon there are forces in this world you're better off not messing with. Anyway, let me take these parts back to Monum and get my wheeler repaired. Shouldn't take too long. I'll ride him back here. Yeah, I'll ride him back here to make sure he's running smoothly, and you can see the magnificent beast in all his glory. So the little Lalafell creep right here still. Always feel like somebody's watching me. We're gonna have a waiting spot, aren't we? No, just talk to Hildy to finish this quest. Detective Hardyworld seemed somewhat nervous, excited to reclaim his pride and joy, perhaps? Cutscene. He comes racing in, doing some good glides left and right. Comes to a halt with like the whole kick out the back tire thing a bit to the side. It's a pretty cool freaking looking bike, dude. Like 2 wheels in front, 2 wheels in back, black with like purple neon circle lit up inside each of them. Got a couple things on the front that kind of look like guns, but actually I guess he does use guns, so that's not entirely out of character. Nashi like jumps for joy, like, Core, would you look at that? Hildy looks a little bit shocked, and now he looks kind of bummed that he doesn't have one. Hardi gets off the bike and walks toward us. We see one of those bugs that I can't remember what they're called. But in Final Fantasy IX, one of the kings had been turned in... no, Korg? No. I don't know. We'll figure it out. What do you think, Mercy? I call him Night Stallion. He's a custom job built for yours truly and has far too much horsepower for the average mook to handle. Anti-gravity capabilities are standard, but when it comes to ground speed, he's been tweaked to achieve the highest possible performance. The trick is to install quick heating motor coils. Hildy and Nashi are probably doing things, inspecting things on the bike that they most likely shouldn't be, but they're behind him and he can't see them. But won't the increased heat compromise the magnetic field's integrity, you ask? Well, while that's a valid concern, a hotter drivetrain responds completely differently when you open up the throttle and... He sees them, points a gun at Hildy. Not uncommon. You get those filthy hands off my ride. Hildy's arms are up. I merely thought to enhance your beloved steed with a touch of Salamanderville. He's trying to enhance the bike with Salamanderville? I don't remember what that is. So you've had this amazing machine this whole time? Why haven't you been riding it until now? He puts the gun away. Ah, so fresh-faced and innocent. The spinning image of my assistant. We see the bug, and like beyond the bug, we see the scene. The bug... Oh yeah, I think I remember the bug is... Okay. Well, it's my guess so far. Hardy is looking off into the distance with his back turned to all of us. I'll never forget the day I hung up my spurs. It was right after I'd caught Carnelian. Hildy is on the bike, laying down on it. Hardybold has his back turned to us. Can't see it. I'd been simmering in thoughts of vengeance, fit to burst my shell at any moment. He's riding in black and white on his bike, getting chased by a couple, probably Carnelian, or he could be chasing Carnelian. Yeah, he's chasing Carnelian, who's also on a motorbike. There was one other person I thought I saw, but it could just be the two of them, and I got mixed up. They're going upstairs. They're in Solution 9, doing those drift turns, up more stairs, little jumps here and there. Good chase. Downstairs, down more stairs. Carnelian whips out his staff and starts trying to like blast water, but Hardi slides through it, and now they're both in the air. Hardi whips out his gun while they're falling and starts blasting Carnelian's bike. Hits him once. Super shocked. Carnelian's flailing. Lands. Bike lands. Hardi lands, but he goes into a badass slide. Carnelian's bike is trashed, or at least not doing well right now. Hardi shoots the regulator off Carnelian, possibly on purpose. Gets closer to him. The big house is too good for the likes of the Crime King. See you in hell, your majesty. His gun powers up a few feet from Carnelian's face. Big orb of energy in the front of it. And then a couple like of the cyborg police on their hover bikes come. And then 4 more. He powers off his gun. The cyborgs come up and surround Carnelian. Gives a wry smile. Should have pulled the trigger when he had the chance. You've gone soft, Hardy boiled. One of the cyborgs comes up a little bit behind Hardy. Oh, nope, it's Hildy? This flashback exceeds the legal length. It's Hildy's head in a cyborg body doing Hildy poses. Hardy's shocked. Nashu comes in with her revealing tux. Laced with illicit embellishments too, I'll bet. My options, I'm in the badass, like, detective, like Dick Tracy kind of outfit with the hat and the sunglasses and the pinstripe suit and the, over jacket. My options are stick to the facts or wrap it up, gumshoe. Wrap it up, gumshoe. I didn't know that Nashu's thing was timed. We're back to present with the black and white wall like falling backwards onto the ground. He's out of it. To cut to the chase, my assistant was avenged. Slinging the Crime King into the slammer took me off the boil, and riding cold just ain't my style. But now that Carnelian's on the streets again, it's time for me to get back in the saddle. They were saying that cactuar punk flew over Thule, whatever, then blew past a dirigible on his way south, right? What kind of territory are we looking at? South of Tuliolo? Is that like the Urkel Pacha kind of area? Lots of big trees, are there? Then let's make this Yak Tails dirigible landing our starting point. I'll take Night Stallion and meet you there. Looks over to his bike. Hildy's laying on it again. Gives a big, like, oh shit smile. Hardy pulls out his gun. Starts blasting, but off camera. We see a lot of purple electricity coming from the side of the screen. Hildy is now standing as the bike peels away. Hildy is smoking, like, from his clothing that is now tattered, as is tradition. And the cutscene fades to black as he rides off. 2549 gil. I was just saying we have to have a follow-up quest. For now, Nashu, Hildy, and myself, and, my wind-up alpha, we thank you for watching. We hope you have enjoyed. Nashu, are you looking at me? You are? Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We will see you next time very soon because I want to continue. Bye-bye for... There we go. That was weird. Bye.